Now that we learn about concatenation of array, we're going to go into splitting of an array. And that's basically, we're going to be breaking up the array, and there's various ways to do it. We're only going to focus on a few. But first, we want to start. As you can see, I created array 1 right here, which is just a range of values from 0 through 9, right? So when splitting an array, we basically have different choices of how to do it. So the first, we'll just look at the basic way of splitting an array, and that's just by using split. So what we're going to do is we're going to split our array into 2 different arrays, right? So pretty easy. NumPy has it's built in. So let's split it. Let's go ahead and designate our array. As a matter of fact, let me change that to lowercase because I hate uppercase. Okay, we're gonna change it to array 1, and we're going to split it into 2 different arrays just by simply doing 2. Now, as you can see, 2 different arrays are created, 0 through 4 and 5 through 9, right? And the reason it shows up in 2 different arrays very easily is because we have 10 different digits, right? So it splits it pretty evenly. Okay, so next, now that we have splitting our array, you can split your array in different ways. For example, you can choose the index that you want to split it on. So just really quick, let's change this from 1 to X, and let's change that to 1 to X, because I want to distinguish it to being like, you know, on the x-axis and the y-axis. So we're going to split our array, going to create a new array, and we're going to split it on whichever index we choose. So let's say, for example, we want to split it on the 3rd and the 7th index. So let's go ahead and run that really quick. Too many indices with 2 were indexed. So, that's why. forgot to separate it. All right. So let's just print that out really quick. Array y. Right. So as you can see, it basically puts the 3 and the 7 into its own separate array, and 0 through 9 is in the first array. Okay. That creates 2 different arrays, but that's not necessarily what we want to do. We actually want to split it instead, and this will actually create different arrays based on the indices, right? So now you see we have 0, 1, 2, and the second array is 3, 4, 5, 6. And the third array is 7, 8, 9. So that's pretty much how we go about splitting on indices of our array. We've seen how it works to kind of split it into 2 different sub arrays. Basically, we're going to next we'll do splitting it into 3 different subarrays. So just for example, we can use our BMI that we've been working on up to this point, and we could just go ahead and split that split that into 3 different subarrays, right? So as you can see, we have 3 different subarrays. What's basically happening is we split the array into 3 subarrays, and it returns basically whatever our numerator, or however many there is. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'd be 6 divided by 3, and it's basically because we have 6 different values. It goes into it. It creates 3 different arrays with 2 elements in each one. So that's cool for when it's, you know, does it evenly. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and comment that. Subarrays, and we're going to split the indices on the 3 and 7 indices. Right? Now we're going to split our BMI array into 3 subarrays. Essentially, it returns 6 modulus 3 is going to equal well, 0, because there's no remainder. There's no remainder. BMI array is split into 3 arrays with 2 elements in each array. Okay. And we can even try it with our actual array that we created. So let's just say np dot split array x. We're gonna split it into 3 different arrays, subarrays. Oops. Because it's an equal division, it's not gonna participate, right? And if we do it like that, okay, yeah, okay. Oh, sorry. We gotta use array split because we're actually splitting it based on the array. Change that to 3. All right, so that's the difference. So there's a couple of different ways because of the fact that 3 doesn't divide by, or 10 doesn't divide by 3 evenly, because you will still have a remainder of 1. It splits it into 3 different arrays, but as you can see, the first subarray has 4 elements, the second subarray has 3 elements, and the final subarray, the third one, has 3 elements as well. Okay, so now we're gonna explore using vsplit. Now, we have an array that has 10 different elements, but right now it looks a little weird. So let's just go ahead and reshape that. Let's go reshape array x dot reshape. It has 10 elements, so we want to try 2 rows and 5 columns. Let's see what that looks like. Alright, so it's just lined up into 2 different rows that are stacked on top of each other, right? But let's say that we want to actually implement the vsplit. The vsplit is essentially splits array into vertically stacked arrays, as opposed to just having them sitting like this. So all right, so let's go let's use mp.v split, and we're gonna go how are we gonna split this up? How about array, let's go B. I'm gonna split into two different subarrays, right? Take that off. And p.vsplit. Here we go. All right, now you can see it's a little neater. Right now, it's a little bit easier to read, as opposed to even if we go ahead and do a hsplit, which is going to actually split it horizontally. Splits array horizontal. So let's go array h equals array x. Let's go ahead and, I mean, we really don't need to reshape it. Just wanted to p.hsplit to yeah. All right. So as you can see, what I did up here is I actually kind of did the inverse of the vsplit, because the vsplit should just be it would be stacked on top of each other, but because I did the reshape and I reshaped it into 2x5, it did the inverse, which would be a horizontal split. This is interesting. Yep, equal division.
Weapons fire detected. Weapons fire detected.
Using the vsplit, we're gonna go straight into the hsplit. But for this one, we're gonna create a whole new series of integers for our array. So let's go array h equals mp.arange. Let's just say 20. And then we want to reshape that array to have 4 rows and 5 columns. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Alright, so you can see we have 4 different rows, 5 different columns, but I want to actually split that horizontally. So, and I believe it's horizontally based on a column, so it's column-wise split. So what we're going to do is just simply mp.hsplit, and we want array h, and because we need to have an equal division, it needs to be 4. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna split into 4 different subarrays. Okay, so And, okay. Oh, let's try changing a number from 4 to 16 and doing it. Now that we have our array H and it's reshaped into 4 different columns to 5 different rows, let's see if we can go ahead and use hsplit to split it up into what's going to have to be dividable by 20. So it's already in 4 different rows, so we want to actually split it into 5 different columns. So let's go 5. All right, so you can see there are now 5 different subarrays for our range of 20. And this is, of course, when you're arranging your data and you are pre-processing your data, when you're starting to get your data ready to be trained, and you're splitting your data into training, testing, and validation sets, you're gonna need to learn how to actually reshape and split your data based on what the actual requirements are. Eventually, later on, we're going to get into different neural networks and different dimensions for different types of data. For example, an image, a JPEG image, has 3 different dimensions of data. It is red, the blue, and the green pixel dimensions. That's going to be much later on in this course. And that's it for Numpy.